So guys, in September, I received 10 different payments, many of which came from some of my favorite dividend-paying stocks and ETFs. We're talking ones like Visa, Zoetis, and of course, SCHD. And in this video, we're gonna go through each of those payments and add them all up to reveal my dividend income for the month, which was a record month of income, guys. My best month ever by a long shot. We'll also look at my total income received so far in 2025. But before we get to those, I wanna hear from you. Leave me a comment below and let me know what were some of your highest dividend payments this month and which stocks did they come from. I'd be very curious to hear if we have any of the same ones. Anyway, guys, getting into my payments for the month, the first one I received in September came from none other than Visa, which is one of my favorite companies. This actually might be my all-time favorite company. And in September, Visa paid me $14.01. And as far as the share price goes, Visa's actually seen a little bit of a pullback this month. We can see just in the last 30 days, the stock is down 3.6%. And I would not mind if it kept going down. I'd love to pick up some more shares a little bit closer to around $300 per share. But nonetheless, looking at the performance so far year to date, Visa is still up 8%, so still seeing somewhat of a gain so far this year. And if we zoom out over the last 365 days, it's had a killer year. It's actually up 23, almost 24%. Now with that, if we take a look at my Visa position over here using my dividend portfolio tracking spreadsheet, which you can start using for free, there is a link to download the spreadsheet in the description of the video. I hope you check it out. But right now I have 23.74 shares at an average cost of just under $270 per share. So right now the current share price is almost $70 above my cost basis, which if we scroll over looking at my returns is going to leave me up about 25% with Visa, including dividends, which don't give us too much of a boost, but a little bit. I'm up 26.5%. Anyway, now moving on to the second payment I received. This one came from Zoetis, another very large position in my portfolio. And in September, Zoetis paid me $18.31, which is going to bring our total so far for the month to $32.32. And I'll tell you guys what, I know we've been talking about it quite a lot lately, but Zoetis just cannot catch a break. In the last month, the stock is down almost 8%. And if we look at the year-to-date performance, it's down over 11%. So it's been a pretty rough 2025 for Zoetis. And if we zoom out over the last year, it's down even more. It's down about 26%. Now, fortunately, I'm not too much in the red on my Zoetis position. I have about 53 shares at an average cost of $152.39. So my average cost per share is still about $9 above the current share price, which is going to leave me down about 6%, about 5.5% if we include dividends. So really not too shabby. And I have decided that I will be averaging down on Zoetis just a little bit more. It's already a pretty hefty position in the portfolio. So I don't want to go too crazy in adding too many more shares, but it's undeniably a good buy right now. So I do want to take advantage of that. Anyway, sticking to the healthcare sector, dividend payment number 3 came from Johnson & Johnson, who paid a whopper of a dividend in September. This one was $53.06, a very nice payment, and that's going to bring our total so far for the month to $85.38. And I will tell you what, unlike Zoetis, Johnson & Johnson has been crushing it lately. The share price is up a little bit in the last month, up about 2%, but if we look at the year to date, it's up about 27%. So J&J has definitely come back from the dead this year. And this is going to leave my position in pretty good shape. I have about 41 shares of J&J at an average cost of around $158 per share. And I spent a lot of time averaging down in this position, which definitely paid off because as we can see, the current share price is $22 above my average cost per share. So that's going to leave me up almost 14% just looking at the share price and about 22% including dividends. So that's pretty good return. I'll take that. Anyway, guys, now moving on to dividend payment number 4. This one came from Chevron, who also, like Johnson & Johnson, delivered a really solid dividend payment, $54.33, which is going to put us officially across the $100 mark for the month. We're sitting at $139.71 so far. And although Chevron is seeing a little bit of a pullback here in the last month, they're pretty break even, but they are down a little bit in the red. Still, year to date, Chevron's doing pretty well. It's up 12% so far in 2025. Now, looking at my position, I have almost 32 shares of Chevron, and I did add a bit to this position so far this year. So I definitely have been building up my Chevron shares, and my average cost is going to be around $125. So the current share price is $35 above that, which is going to leave me up about 28% just looking at the share price, including dividends. We get a nice 11% boost right there, and my total return is up about 40%. Now, moving on from Chevron, this next dividend dividend payment came from one of my favorite companies, definitely one of my favorite dividend growth stocks. This one is Snap-on, who in September paid me $19.21, which is going to bring our total so far for the month to $158.92. We are doing pretty good. And Snap-on saw a nice surge this last month. Looking at the share price performance, it's up about 5% just in the last 30 days. And if we zoom out looking at the year-to-date performance, all of the gains and then some this year have come just in the last month. So far, year-to-date, Snap-on's only up 3.35%. And if we zoom out over the last year, it's looking a lot better. The stock is up 20%. And that really strong performance over this last year is very bittersweet with Snap-on, because it is one of those that I'd love to buy more shares of Snap-on. It's not a huge position in my portfolio. I mean, as we can see, I only have about 9 shares of this company at an average cost of $211, which is $130 below the current share price. So like I said, I would not mind a little pullback whatsoever, so I could pick up some shares at a cheaper price. But right now I'm up 62% just looking at the share price, which is good. It's bittersweet, like I said, and including dividends, I'm up about 74%. So this one's been really good to me, which is exactly why I wish I had more shares. And like I said, it is a small position. It's only 3.5% of my portfolio, but I wish it was double that. At any rate, guys, moving on to dividend payment number 6. This one came from the monthly dividend company. We're talking Realty Income, who paid me $29.27, which is going to leave us with a total so far of $188.19. And Realty Income has just been on fire this year. In the last month, the stock has seen a nice little surge. It's up about 3%. We'll take that. It's officially across the $60 mark. And if we look at the year-to-date performance, it's done really well. So far in 2025, Realty Income is up 18%. And looking at my position, I have about 109 shares of Realty Income at an average cost that I think is pretty decent, $53.56. And with the current share price where it's at, about $6, $7 above my average cost per share, that's going to leave me up 12.6% just looking at the share price. Not too bad, but with Realty Income, those dividends definitely stack up over time and give my total return a nice boost. Including dividends, I'm up 28% with Realty Income, so definitely can't complain. Now moving on to the other monthly payer in my portfolio, this one is Main Street Capital Corporation, who paid me not once, but twice in September. We got the regular dividend for $14.35 right there. They also paid their quarterly special dividend in the month. That was for $16.88, which when combined is going to bring our total officially across the $200 mark. And right now we're sitting at $219.42. And after what seemed like a pretty unbeatable streak of strong share price performance, Main Street actually has seen a little bit of a pullback this last month. We can see it's down 3.4%, but if we look at the year-to-date performance, it's still looking good. It's still up 10.6% here in 2025. And even if we zoom out once more over the last year, Main Street is still crushing it. It's up 33.25%. And I am just pretty amazed at how well my Main Street position is doing. I have 56.25 shares of this company. Once again, not a huge position in the portfolio, kind of middle of the road, but my average cost is looking good, $40.66. So per share, I'm up about $23 there, which is going to leave me up about 57% just looking at the share price. Really nice share price returns, and those dividends, being the high yielder that it is, adds a really nice boost to the total return. And in total, I'm up about 87%, and I really want to see a 100% gain with this one. With those monthly dividends continuing to come in, I really think it's only a matter of time. I think this will be the next 100% return stock in my portfolio. Now, sticking to the business development companies for just a moment, the next dividend payment I received came from Blue Owl Capital Corporation, who, like Main Street, also paid a special dividend in September. Pretty small payment, only $3.63, but this is going to bring our total so far to $223.05. And as opposed to Main Street Capital Corporation, Blue Owl is probably one of the biggest losers for me this year. In the last month, it's really taken a hit. It's down 7%, but if we zoom out looking at the year-to-date performance, it's down even more. It's down about 8% so far in 2025. So pretty much the opposite of what we saw with Main Street. And Blue Owl is a very small position in the portfolio for me. It seems like it's, a pretty big one because I have 181 shares, but each share is only $13.82, and I'm actually down a little bit if we look at the share price. The current share price is $13.24, so that's going to leave me down 4.2% just looking at those returns. Including dividends, we're still in the green. We're still sitting pretty. I'm still up 22.7%. And like I said, this is a very small position. It's only 2.7% if we just look at the dollars invested. But looking at the weighting of the dividend income, this is actually one of the highest dividend payers in my portfolio. It makes up 9% of the taxable account's overall income. So with that said, I don't know how much more Blue Owl I'd want to to add. I'd maybe, push it to 10 or 11% of my overall income, but I don't know that I'd want to add too much more beyond that because I'd like to stay a bit more diversified. At any rate, guys, jumping over to dividend payment number 9, this one came from Clear Secure. Love me some Clear Secure, and in September they paid $16 even, which is going to bring our total so far for the month to $239.05. And looking at the share price, Clear Secure has come back from the dead. It may not seem like it in the last month where it is down 0.3%, but if we zoom out looking at the year-to-date performance, it's been pretty crazy. Clear Secure is up 38%, so it's done really well this year. And jumping over, looking at my position, it's definitely been a beneficiary of that. I have 128 shares at an average cost of $28.91, and I'm really glad that I averaged down on this one while I had the chance to. It made a big difference in terms of lowering my average cost per share, but right now the current share price is about $8 above my cost basis, so that's going to leave me up about 27%, just talking share price returns, including dividends. We're getting an extra couple percent right here, so on a total return basis, I'm up 29.1%, not too shabby. Now guys, those were all of the payments I received in my taxable account, but I actually did get one more dividend payment over in the Roth IRA, which came from none other than SCHD. And in September, SCHD paid me my largest dividend payment of all time, $121.81, which is pretty ridiculous. And if we look at my SCHD position, I now have 467, almost 468 shares at an average cost of $26.04, and I am gunning for 500 shares by the end of the year. I definitely think we're going to hit that. But anyway, with that final payment from SCHD, that's going to bring my total dividend income for the month of September to $360.86, which once again is a new record, guys. My previous income record was back in March of this year. That was $338.14. So we blew that out of the water. Really crazy to know that I'm now getting $360 in some months. This will happen more often moving forward, but it's pretty crazy to know that I'm getting this amount of money without having to lift a finger. And that's what I love about dividend investing, guys. It really is the gift that keeps on giving. It's one of those things, as you can tell from this chart right here, that just gets better the longer that you do it. But anyway, that was this month, $360.86. And this month's income represents a 51.22% gain compared to this time last year. In September 2024, I brought in $238.64. So that's just a huge year-over-year jump. Now, if we switch gears looking at the annual dividend income so far, here in 2025, I've generated $2,515.28 in dividends, which is a big 24.17% compared to the first 9 months of last year. January through September 2024, I'd only generated $2,025 in dividend income. So once again, that's another really big year-over-year jump. And if we look at the monthly breakdown, here are all of the dividend payments, just recapping them from top to bottom right here. We can see the year-over-year differences between all of these individual payments as well. And most of these increases are going to be in the double digits. Stocks like Visa, Johnson & Johnson, Chevron for sure, which I did, buy quite a bit of shares of, so that makes sense, but Snap-on or even Realty Income, and not to mention SCHD, these all saw really big year-over-year gains. But anyway, guys, overall, very solid month. I love hitting those milestones. You got to celebrate all of those small victories along the way. But with that, now I want to switch gears and show you which companies are going to be paying me in this upcoming month here in October. And to do this, guys, we are going to be using the dividend calendar tool over here on Snowball Analytics, which outside of my free portfolio tracker, this is another one that I really like. It's my favorite portfolio tracker out there. And if you're looking for something with more bells and whistles and more features and functionality than your standard spreadsheet, then definitely check out Snowball. There's a link to it in the description of the video. But anyway, getting into October's payments, we are going to kick off the month with a nice near $25 payment from none other than VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. And then a week later, we'll have a couple nice payments coming in from KRC, $41.58. And I'll also have a little payment coming in from SGVT, $5.50. And just for a little context on this position, I started buying a little SGVT, I don't know, maybe about a month or so ago. There's just not been much in my portfolio that has been looking interesting to buy. So I figure in the meantime, while I'm waiting for buying opportunities, I'll just put it in SGVT and let it collect some interest. So that's what this position is. And then one day later, we'll get another very nice payment from Vici Properties, $65.25. And then it looks like the last payments for the month are going to be coming on the 15th. And this is going to be a very solid day of dividends. We have $67 coming in from Blue Owl, $65 coming in from WP Carey. So this is going to be over $130 just with these two. We'll get another $30 or so coming in from Realty Income. So with that, we're looking at over $160. And then with Main Street $14.35, we're looking at about a $175 day of dividends, which might be my highest day of dividends ever. But anyway, with all of these payments combined, that's going to bring my total income for October to $313.55, which I believe will be the first time I've had back-to-back months where I've brought in over $300 in dividends. That's pretty crazy. So October is shaping up to be another killer month of dividends. And with that, if you want to take a deeper look inside my dividend portfolio, then check out this next video right over here. In this one, I'm breaking down my top 5 largest positions. I'm going to tell you all about why I own them, and I'm going to tell you exactly how much each one pays me in dividends every single year. So click right over here to check all that out, and I'll see you in the next one.